So for knee internal rotation, pails and rails, we're going to do this from a standing position. So you're going to need either a couple of books that are propped up against the wall, like hardback books, or a yoga block. You can just go against the wall. I just find it's a bit nicer to use like a yoga block or something that's like an immovable object that's propped up against the wall. So I'm going to place the outside of the foot straight against that yoga block, and then I need to bend my knee. We can't rotate the knee if the knee is fully locked out, so it has to have some element of flexion there. So we're going to bend the knee first. Try and keep all the toes flat on the floor, so try not to roll and bring the arch of the foot up, because we don't want to use any ankle stuff here. So we want to keep the foot flat, bend the knee, and then I'm going to just hop around my leg and try and turn my whole body towards the wall. And then I'm just gonna, I've got the stool bars here so I can hold on to these, but otherwise you'd have your hands just flat against the wall. Now, once you're in this position, make sure the foot hasn't moved or the heel hasn't moved away from that yoga block. So you want to make sure it's flat. Just have a look at the foot and check it hasn't rolled. Again, I want to keep it flat. Now, the more I'm going to turn into the wall, the more internal rotation I'm going to bring that knee into. So just bear in mind that if you haven't done this before, just go really easy on knee work, because it can be very, very tender. So just start really light, not so far into rotation. Even if you just start here, that's a good starting point if that feels fairly comfortable. And then we can hop around into this position to bring it into end range of motion. So now I'm in end range of internal rotation. I'm going to do a Pails contraction here, so a pushing contraction. So I'm going to take my foot and think of the front half of that foot. I'm going to drive it into the yoga block. Okay, so I'm going to hold on and I'm going to start to try to turn the front of that foot into the yoga block. Now, I don't want to turn so the heel actually comes away. That's not what I'm looking for here. It's an isometric, so there's no movement involved. It's just a pushing contraction. So I'm going to try to turn that foot. So say it's facing 12 o'clock. I'm going to attempt to turn it to 1 p.m. on the clock, so in towards the wall. So I'm going to drive that in, build the intensity up, 20%, kind of low effort, 40, 60, and just build this up to a hard contraction once you get used to this contraction in the knee. Okay. Once you've got to your strongest, safest effort, we're going to hold for time. And then your rails contraction is where we try to bring the foot or the shin into more internal rotation. So after I've held the Pails contraction for a period of time, say 30 seconds, I'm going to then try to turn the foot away from the yoga block, so more towards my other foot, but try to bow the knee in towards the wall more. So as I'm trying to turn in towards the wall more, I'm going to try and pull the front of that foot away from the yoga block. And then I'm going to hold that contraction. So I tend to hold each one for kind of 30 seconds push, 30 seconds pull. So we build up that Pails contraction slowly, find our greatest, safest effort and hold it there. And then we go into that rails contraction at our greatest, safest effort. Be mindful on the rails that we're not trying to pull the foot away and arching the foot. I want to try to get a contraction without that arch of the foot actually coming up. So the rails contraction is quite tricky here, but just try to keep the foot as still as possible. So that's your Pails and rails for knee internal rotation.